Time now for our segment, The Song That Changed My Life. This time, Jose James. Jose is a singer from Minneapolis, and while he works a lot in jazz, collaborating with folks like Chico Hamilton, Chris Bowers, just to name a couple, he's also kind of a genre polymath. His efforts go beyond jazz, into hip-hop, electronic music, and now soul.
My friends, fearless their appointed duty. They keep trying to tell me all you want to do is use me.
For his latest album, James is taking on one of the greats, Bill Withers. James' new album, Lean on Me, features 12 renditions of his favorite Bill Withers tracks. The one you're listening to right now is Use Me. He recorded it right here in Los Angeles, where we make this show, in Capitol Records' famous Studio B. But not before getting Bill Withers' blessing, of course. He got that from the legend over dinner. So, when we asked him to talk about the song that changed his life, you'd think he might go with a Bill Withers song, right? But instead he picked Love and Happiness, a classic from another all-time great soul singer, Al Green. Okay, let's go to Jose.
My introduction to Al Green, anybody my age will probably laugh at this, was actually watching Pulp Fiction. Amazing soundtrack, and everybody knows the scene, where, the gangster Marcellus Wallace is being introduced, and, they're playing this cool 70s soul music.
Thing is, Butch, right now, you got ability. But painful as it may be, ability don't last. And your days are just about over. Now that's a hard fact of life. But that's a fact of life your ass is gonna have to get realistic about.
And Quentin is such a genius for using music in these crazy ways, And it introduced me to this whole tradition of how soul music is used in these gangster movies, in these black gangster movies. And it was so cool, and it immediately made me want to learn who was that singer. What was this sound? What was this behind this scene?
See, this business is filled to the brim with unrealistic who thought their ass would age like wine. If you mean it turns to vinegar, it does. If you mean it gets better with age, it don't.
I had to go buy the soundtrack to Pulp Fiction, and I went to the Electric Fetus, which was Prince's favorite record store in Minneapolis. That's where I pretty much, built my entire collection from jazz to hip hop. It was and remains to this day just an amazing record stop in Minneapolis. So I took the CD home, opened it up, and I saw it was Let's Stay Together by Al Green. I said, okay, who's Al Green? And then I found out. And then this one track, Love and Happiness, just completely, grabbed me and took me in a whole nother direction.
Love and happiness.
Well, coming from a jazz background, I'm always looking for something a little bit more sophisticated. And Love and Happiness starts out of time, rubato. And he's just singing, love and happiness.
Love.
And then that foot stomp comes in, on a box. Da, 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 da. And it was like, oh, okay. I was such a student of jazz standards, which, are very clever and, verbose. And, this was quite different, He's stating a theme, love and happiness. Okay, what does that mean? And then he's like, wait a minute, something's going wrong. You're like, oh.
Wait a minute, something's going wrong. Someone's on the phone.
What's the drama? Someone's on the phone, 3 o'clock in the morning. And like that kind of rhyme coming from hip hop, I loved that immediately, Something's going wrong, 3 o'clock in the morning, someone's on the phone, talking about she can make it right. Like, that's such an intriguing line that I was already hooked, because I'm a lyricist and a wordsmith too.
Being in love with someone, yeah. Oh, baby, love and happiness.
At that point, I was really a jazz dude, jazz and hip hop. I didn't really know that much about soul and R&B. I just didn't understand it. Al Green actually started as a jazz singer, and I found out, Leon Ware, Marvin Gaye, Bill Withers, Lou Rawls, all these guys started as jazz singers. They had a certain kind of jazz information. When you hear Al in the very beginning go up and hold that note, just hold it forever. That could be like Sarah Vaughan, you know what I mean? That kind of like intimacy was really cool.
Be good to me, and I'll be good to you. We'll be together, yeah. To see each other, walk away with victory, yeah.
So he cut this record for High Records in Memphis, and they were known for a very distinctive sound. One of the distinctive things about these sessions at High Records were the Hodges brothers, Teenie Hodges on guitar, Charles on organ, Leroy on bass, and then we had the legendary Al Jackson on most of the drum sessions. And that rhythm section was so legendary, they were responsible for, cranking out so many hits of that era. What strikes me about how they recorded this track too is Al Green's vocal. It's very raw.
Come home early, make you stay out all night long. Oh, love. Wait a minute. Let me take
I was used to listening to Michael Jackson, which is very pop. There's like 3 lead vocals, and it's very smooth, and there's like reverb and all these things. This is just one mic, you can tell. He's in the room with them, you know what I mean? I love it because it really conveys all of the emotion in his delivery. It captures every nuance. This is almost like documentary recording. Like, it's obviously was a huge hit, but it's like, this is a moment of him just jamming with these guys and performing. He's really performing in the studio, and you can feel that energy.
see love. Make you wanna dance. Love and happiness.
This track opened my eyes to a third path in music. I knew about jazz, which to me was about learning the standards, improvising off of the changes. And I knew about kind of more pop, pop and hip hop. I wasn't a rapper, I didn't have the skills to be an MC. And this is like a third path. It's like you could be a singer-songwriter like Al Green, but it's still full of jazz information and still funky and direct and reaches people. And I don't know, just a light bulb went off and it all made sense.
Jose James with the song that changed his life. His new album is Lean on Me. It's a great collection of Bill Withers covers, and it's out now. I really think James is one of the great singers going right now. Let's take a listen to one more song off of his new record. This one is Lovely Day.
When I wake up in the morning, love, and the sunlight hurts my eyes, something without warning, love, bears heavy on my mind. Then I look at you, and the world's all right with me. Just one